picture. Really the hottest nigga, you gon' respect this lava. I'm shooting it if I pull it, boy, make sure you want this drama. I bring it to you like it's Law and Order SVU. Turn you to a vegetable, now you look good inside a soup. Family come from Bishopville, but I grew up in that Bronx Zoo where they shoot you dead in the street and then dance all on top of you. And I do what I gotta do.
Started. Please don't get me started. Started.
What up, y'all? Snake Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador. And I want to talk about Fire, the blood who ended up being involved in the situation that led to known Crip Ice being murdered in one main house of pain, right? So I'm not gonna say I personally knew Fire, but I was familiar with him because right before he ended up in one main, he was in one lower. We was in the same crib together and we was getting familiar. We almost could have been friends for what it's worth. Being that, you know, this is Rikers Island. You get cool with people and at any random moment, it could be static, you know, but he spent a couple weeks in one lower. Right before, every time I bring up one lower, I say that I was there for a little while. And in the midst of that, there was a whole lot of regime changes. It went from different bloods coming in, taking control of the crib, to eventually, right before I left, the Patias ended up running. Like, it went from 1 or 2 Patias and the bloods was running the crib. And in a matter of maybe like a month, it had been like 3-4 regime changes to where the Patia who had the whole building, who had the whole 4 building, at least for adolescents, he ends up in one lower. And by that point, the bloods done got into a lot of stuff. Most of the bloods was gone, and by that point, like 6 to 8 Patias had ended up inside of one lower. So in between that time, it was like a 2-3 week period where regime changes was going on. It was a lot of fights for power. And in the middle of that, Fire had came in. Now I'm gonna explain to y'all how Fire looks. Fire was like a light-skinned, brown-skinned dude, and he was tall. He was a big dude. He was easily at least the tallest dude, and maybe the second heaviest dude in the whole crib, right? But this is really a tragic story. And I feel like this is a tragic story because except for maybe one person who got wrapped up with this body, everyone else had time to do, but they didn't necessarily have a whole lot of time to do. Like, in the talks that I had with Fire, I don't remember Fire ever saying to me like, yo, I'm looking at 15 years for attempt, or I'm locked up for a body. He definitely wasn't locked up for a body. Maybe he was locked up for a robbery or something. I'm not sure, but this is a tragic story because to me, I feel like I judge people very well, and it always seemed to me like Fire was overcompensating for something. It always seemed to me like he wanted to prove himself amongst all the other gang members in the house. It seemed to me like he really had a chip on his shoulder and he had something to prove. And he seemed like he was overly eager to get himself involved in situations. And I think that's why once he got into the fight that led to him getting moved out of one lower into one main, and I'm gonna get to that, I feel like he got down there, or up there rather, because it's like one lower be like right here, and then you go up the stairs, it'd be one main, and then you go up the stairs again, it'll be, you know what I'm saying, one upper. I felt like he got there and there was more known gangsters in there than him, higher ranking bloods, and he might have just been eager. He might have just been eager to prove himself. Now, getting into Fire's personality, he was pretty cool, but he also he also had a short temper. He did. And he argued a lot with this other dude. I think maybe Fire was from Brooklyn. I'm not sure. But he was arguing with this other dude who was on the team with him all the time. And there was a couple almost fights, and then there was a situation where it became a fight. And the reason why I say I feel like Fire was always overcompensating was because even though he was big and even though he looks like a physically imposing person, if you judge a book by its cover, you will look at him and you could be scared of him. But for some reason, the other tough guys in the house, it didn't seem like they was too threatened by him. Even to the point where the other dude who I say he constantly kept getting into it with until it came to a head during lunch. This guy from Brooklyn, his name was like Rel, I think. Dark-skinned fat dude, but short. And he used to just clown Fire all the time. Mind you, the only time I ever really seen him like really tight was with Rel. Because Rel used to always be clowning on him, calling him big and stupid, inviting him to the Frank stand. Rel was also somebody who he'd be like, yo, your mother could, right? All the time. And you know, Fire wasn't the type of guy who had quick comebacks. So he would get tight, you feel me? And I'm watching this escalate over weeks. Mind you, oh yeah, sidebar. Fire also, he also had Ussy books. I'm gonna take the P from the beginning of that word. Ussy books, which he had the Orno mags that he used to, you know, rent out. I used to rent them out from him, try to steal pages, and he used to know all his pages. He used to come back to my cell and be like, yo, Juju, where my pinky page 73 or something like that. And I'd be like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. He'd be like, yo, bro, lift your mattress up right now then. I'm like, nah, what you mean? Then I lift the mattress up. He'd catch me, I give it back. We have a little laugh about that. Fire was cool, but he always felt like he had a chip on the shoulder. He felt like he wanted to be viewed as the toughest, but his peers just didn't view him as the toughest. But you could tell he was somebody who dealt with a lot of aggression. And he's not somebody who was good at communicating. He wasn't somebody who was good at playing the dozens back, cracking jokes back, you know what I'm saying? I also remember Fire had just got to the crib. Then someone else had just got to the crib. And that other person, they cell was right next to mine. And I remember Fire step into the dude's cell. And he pressed the dude. He like, yo, so what you think he's going to be doing there? And the dude was like, yo, I'm going to do whatever I want. Then they got into a fight. But I guess I never personally seen Fire like fight, except for the situation with Rel, where he got packed up and ended up in one main, which I'm about to get to. But I guess part of him being clown was the dude who he fought in the cell. I guess he was talking about he was just gonna like work him. But the dude was significantly smaller than Fire. And Fire didn't really hurt him that much. I guess that's part of why he was being clown. And I don't know, I guess, like when you on Rikers Island, man, when you in prison, period, your ability to hurt people, especially your ability to hurt people when you alone with them, it will be scrutinized. It will be scrutinized, yo. And if it's assumed that you should really hurt somebody and you don't, they're gonna judge you for it. Especially if you were, I think he was from Brooklyn, and the crib is led by Brooklyn dudes who blood like you. Blood's always fighting each other, but we always know that. But the day Fire got into the fight with Rel, and he finally gave in to his temper, right? Gave in to his temper. It was lunchtime. We all in the day room. We eating and all that. They get into words. They exchanging words or whatever. Rel joking with him. Fire get mad. Fire say something. I think Fire invited Rel to the Frank stand or something. And then Rel just started like lyrically lashing at him, just embarrassing him, saying wild stuff. We all laughing and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, I was laughing too. It was funny. I ain't see it really going nowhere. But then dude sits down, he turns his back to Fire. And then he keep like talking crazy to Fire, but he got his back turned to him. Fire gets mad. Fire starts punching him in his head. Bing, 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 bing. Grabs a food tray. Hits him over the head with the food tray. Boom, boom, boom. Mind you, Rel, right, who's a crazy Brooklyn dude, while he getting hit, he's smiling. He getting hit, he like, yo, you still ussy. He like, yo, you still ass. He hitting him. He letting Fire get all his hits in. And Fire's a big dude. Like, you would really expect Fire to like drop Rel, but it don't happen. The fight end up getting broken up. Fire end up getting packed up, right? Mind you, Fire gets packed up. He gets sent to one man, and literally like 5 days later, the body gets dropped in one man. And all these dudes end up getting new charges, and Fire gets moved to like Valhalla or something after that. And that's how it was. And it's really a tragic story because I don't think Fire really wanted to be the type of person that he was trying to make himself to be. So this is why I encourage all of us to really be who we are, you know, and have our own identity and not fall victim to this facade of wanting to be a gangster, wanting to be a tough guy all the time, you know. I don't know what's going on with Fire. I don't know if they gave him life, 20, 30. But through this video, I just want to send my love and well wishes to Fire. He's somebody who personally never rubbed me the wrong way, but I knew what he was struggling with internally. Like, share, comment, subscribe, peace.